Good anytime, my Fuzzyites, and welcome to a quick review of Kingdom Hearts. As I usually do these quick review videos, I rate them 1 to 5. 1 being that the game, whatever it was trying to go for in the category I am categorizing, it just fell through. It did not work. It was really, really bad. Just unplayable and terrible. And 3, usually meaning that it was just whatever it was going for, it basically hit, but no more, no less. It was just meh. And 5 being it really blew me out of the water with everything going on with that category and did a really good job. So first, as I always do, what do I always do? It's been a while since I did a quick review, I think. Do I do story first? Story, character, yeah. The main thing to do is story. So Kingdom Hearts, it starts with an original character. If you don't know Kingdom Hearts, it has, or you should, you've probably watched my videos or know Kingdom Hearts is a big series, but it's a crossover from Disney with Final Fantasy with original characters. But anyways, to begin with, you are Sora, who's on an island, who is with your friend Riku. Other kids are there, but they're not important. And you have Kairi, who is said that she's from somewhere completely different, so you're making a raft in order to visit her world and other worlds out there. But when you finish your raft, a storm comes to the island, crap goes amiss, darkness takes over, destroys your island, and you are lost without your friends of Riku and Kairi, who are just gone somewhere, and you're trying to track them down. So while you appear in Traverse Town, you go around, and you eventually run into Leon, who tells you, hey, you're a Keyblade wielder. You have a Keyblade weapon that hurts the Heartless, who are trying to destroy the worlds by getting into the keyholes in every world to then get to the center of them and destroy the worlds, which is what happened to your world. And after you meet Leon, Heartless attack, and you run into Dawn and Goofy, who are searching for King Mickey in order to find out what's going on, and they are tasked with finding the key bearer, which is Sora. So together you go out to many, many different Kingdom Hearts, or many worlds, which I'll talk about in setting, in search of Riku, Kairi, and the King. There is mysterious enemies at play. One of them are secret. I won't spoil it if people don't know. But one of the big bads of Disney has talked to Riku and convinced him, Riku, that Sora does not care about him. Sora only cares about his new friends and the king. And Kairi is a husk who she, the big bad, can help. She, the big bad, can help Riku in order to get Kairi back. So after Sora goes through all the worlds and whatnot, tracks down Kairi, they go to Hallow Bastion. At the end of it, there's a lot of many stories on each world, but they basically are: enemy arrives, try to find the keyhole to lock it so that the Heartless cannot destroy that world, move on. You confront the big bad, as well as Riku. The big bad is defeated. Riku, turns out he's being possessed by someone named Ansem. You then fight. A lot of the Heartless get released. Princesses of Darkness and all that good stuff. And then you hunt down Riku and Ansem, defeat them, all the worlds get split up, you are separated from Kairi, who is now whole, and Riku and whatnot are stuck behind some door, and you are now searching for your next adventure where you see Pluto with a note. Kind of a big rambling thing. I'm also keeping a lot because there's a lot to the game story that's, I don't know why I'm even holding it back. Maybe I'll change it to actually talk about this stuff, because if you're watching, you should either know the game or be somewhat familiar. But either way, overall for the story, I'm a sucker for crossovers, and this one, going to different worlds, like you go to Alice in Wonderland, which is one of my favorite worlds, or my favorite Disney movies, and A Nightmare Before Christmas, which is definitely my favorite Halloween, or favorite Disney movie. I love Oogie Boogie to death. So it's no surprise why that movie is so good to me. But overall, for this story, it's pretty straightforward. At the beginning, you're just trying to find Riku and Kairi while exploring different worlds, trying to stop the darkness from taking over. You find Riku, but then you find out, oh no, it's not Riku, so you have to stop this new character who's possessing Riku in order to stop opening the door to darkness and whatnot. And at the end, you're just off on the next adventure, which goes into the next game. And kind of ends on a cliffhanger here, unless you play the next game, Rechain of Memory. So overall for story, I'm going to give it a 4.5 because I loved the stories of every individual world. They kind of, they are, all the world, the stories on the worlds are kind of rehashes of the story, but with a good twist. So, like, it's similar plot, while not being a direct ripoff of those movies. Like Alice in Wonderland, Alice is in court already by the time you get to her. You must find evidence, but then when you get the evidence and heck breaks loose, she goes missing and then you try and hunt her down. But you find a Heartless instead and find out, oh no, Alice is gone. In another world, let's just take one of the later worlds. Atlantis, Little Mermaid. You get there, you start swimming around. You go to Ariel's grotto, hideout, whatever it's called, and in search of a thing to get the keyhole open to close it. Triton comes, gets mad, and destroys it. Ariel gets mad that her father doesn't trust her, treats her like a child and whatnot, and Ariel swims off, makes a partial deal with Ursula to get the trident. They get the trident, and then you go and beat Ursula and whatnot. So while it's somewhat similar to a lot of the Disney movies, they do have their own way of going about it, with new scenes and whatnot. It's like, what would happen to continue on to the story if there was another character, Sora, Donald Goofy, introduced as well. And it worked really good. So I'm going to give it 4.5 because although not the most original stories and whatnot, especially Come Find Your Friend and whatnot, there was a lot of compelling stuff in there that I love entirely. It's really well done and I enjoy it, especially all the crossover stuff and whatnot. But it's nothing that makes me go like, yeah, hands down, this is the best story in the world. It's just really good. Alright, and then next up, we will say 4 to 5 for story. And now we go on to character, which the characters, you have the main ones being Sora, Riku, and Kairi for original. You also have Donald, Goofy, and the Big Bad from Disney's point of view, and even some Final Fantasy characters like Leon, Goofy, and what's her name? Aerith. Overall, going through the characters, you have Sora. He's your kind of basic Disney character. Basic Disney good guy. He wants to fight for good, stop evil, and just goes about it in the best way possible. Goofy, lovable goofball, who's very clumsy and seems to make mistakes, but he's very smart and catches on very quickly, which I enjoy greatly. And Donald Duck, the short-tempered wise man who can't talk, who has a speech impediment, which is hilarious, and I do a great impression. If you haven't watched my videos, definitely should watch my videos on that. Yeah, but basically, Goofy and Donald are exactly as you would expect them to be from their Disney counterparts. Riku is kind of the bolder, older friend of Sora. He goes into darkness, wants to be with Sora and save Kairi, but through the Big Bad's whispering in Riku's ear, he turns to think that Sora doesn't care about him or Kairi, and he doesn't like that, so he goes against Sora. And then Kairi is kind of just, unfortunately, girl. She gets better in the later games, but here it's just, she's from a different world. She wants to get them to a different world. They like her. Sora really likes her and wants to make a move. I think there's some chemistry there that they want. I don't know. It's not my place. But a lot of it's just female. Classic female in a game story or whatnot to propel the story through that. So it's, it's what you would, it's bare minimum of character and whatnot. And the big bad from the Disney side, really well done. One of the best villains they ever had. And I love them immensely. And, like I said, with it being different worlds out there as well, you get different characters, like the Queen of Hearts, who is played just as she would be in a Disney movie. What are you doing, Salem? He's playing with his mouse. You have Jack Skellington and Oogie Boogie, who are exactly as you would think from the Disney movie. If this was a part of it, they'd fit right in. Ariel, Trident, Tarzan, Jane, Clinton, and all that. Just a lot of good side characters from the game, from the movies that you know and love, possibly know and love. They're just reprised, and they feel very much like those characters in this story, in the story as the story they were from. So very well done. So overall for characters, I think I'm gonna give it a 4. No. Yeah, I'm gonna give it 4.5? No, straight 4. Because while the characters are really good, well done, and enjoyable, it's Disney, so of course they're written really well and whatnot. But for Sora, he's kind of the do-goody-gooder that you know and expect from stuff like this. He'll fight to the end to fight the darkness. Oh, we must do it right. No, I care about my friends. I'm sad when the friends don't think I care about them. I'll sacrifice myself to do what's right. Riku's the arrogant, I'm tougher, I'm better. Oh, no, Sora's now stronger and can keep up with me. That's bad. And Kairi is just unfortunate. Again, not bad, but mostly just she's a female. And unfortunately, she wasn't written. She was written well enough, but, nothing too spectacular. So it's mainly a 4 just because the Disney characters are there giving a good performance, as they always do. For 4. So that's 4. For settings, like I said, crossover. So a lot of the areas you get are similar to the movies they come from. You have Wonderland, you have Atlantis and Under the Sea areas, you have Halloween Town and the outskirts of Halloween Town. Some of the original areas we have is Hollow Bastion, the end area, which is kind of a giant castle, which is very nice and beautiful. You have Traverse Town, which is the town that some souls who lost their home will travel to be saved and whatnot. So you got a lot of characters whose worlds have been destroyed and are now there. The End is another world that's new here. But a lot of them are just Disney worlds where you get to play through and whatnot, but beautiful and whatnot. So not much more to say. It's more, like I said with the characters, I can say with here as well. It's a lot like going through these different stories and whatnot, but you being able to walk through the streets of Agrabah, for instance. Or you're walking around a forest and woods, and then you end up in a house, and you take a trail and you're upside down in a room for Alice in Wonderland's Wonderland world. Or the jungle, you're in a jungle where you're going around, you can fall down, and if you fall from treetops, you can end up in different areas. So overall, I am going to give the areas a 4.5 or 5. Because they are very well done. They're all unique in all unique. If you showed me a picture, I'd be able to say that's this world, that's that world. There's Wonderland. Not only is it Wonderland, this is this room in Wonderland. So I'm going to give it Yeah, I'm going to give it 5 for setting. Because the settings are very nice, they're very lively, they look beautiful, they're really unique to each world, having their own flair and filling in gaps that feel natural to these worlds to make it more congruent for a game type thing. So next we go to the game mechanics and whatnot. And so this is I call it a beginner's RPG because there are a lot of RPG motions in this. As you attack people, you level up, which gives you more abilities to use, and you get different things like strength, defense, magic up while you go. You unlock different spells and whatnot, but it's a lot of free flow fighting where you just mash a button when you enter an area. Heartless will appear, you mash a button to attack them, or you just walk right by him, go into different doors to continue. Sometimes you can't, but it's very, 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 it's not very often where you just have to kill enemies to progress, unless the story demands it for something, like interacting with something or some other thing. But like I said, there's the attacks, which are just pressing a button, ground attacks, and air attacks. As you go on, you unlock special moves if you press the triangle button, so you can learn different things, like a rush attack from a character. There's an attack where you leap in, or you go into the air, strike a bunch, and then shoot like a blast that parts out and then comes back and devastates any enemies around it. And there is magic, so you get a lot of the magic from classic Final Fantasy, like fire, ice, arrow, stuff like that, and they upgrade to whatever it is, to Ra, and then Ga, to end it being the strongest. So Cure, Ra, Cure Ga. And as you go on, sometimes you get them from chests, sometimes you get them from completing different missions, sometimes from just talking to characters. Just as you progress, you get them and whatnot. And the abilities are vast. Some of them are just, at the beginning, you can only use 3 combos for ground, but then you can add more, so you do 4 combos. Then you can add a thing where there's a slight chance you'll do like a heavy strike that does like a blast radius around, that'll damage more enemies around you, or a black hole gravity move to pull enemies down to do more damage and whatnot. So there's a lot of variety of doing damage, as well as you have AP action points in order to pick which ones you want. You can gain more as you level up, or even you can even create stuff to get them and whatnot. Yeah, there's a lot to it. I really enjoy the series. Spells, abilities, and whatnot. And as the series went on, it did a lot more. But overall, it's good. So, overall, I'm going to give the abilities a 5 out of 5. Because there's a lot of variety to do with abilities, more combos as you go on, magic abilities. Your friends gain stuff too, so you get to pick and choose what you're doing to help you out with your playstyle and whatnot. A lot of combinations you can make, and just customizations a bit to give you a good playthrough. So it's very nice, and I enjoy it greatly. And then the last thing we are going to talk is, because it's a crossover, talking about the crossover of different things with the Final Fantasy and Disney characters. So, like I said, a lot of the stuff is the main characters Sora, Riku, and Kairi, but you also have different worlds you go to, like Wonderland, Agrabah, Atlantis, and so on and so forth. And a lot of the characters, Donald and Goofy, are your partners. And it's really enjoyable. Like I've said before, in characters and settings, it does a good job at bringing these movies into a game format, where I feel like, yep, I'm there in Agrabah just like I saw in the movies. It feels really nice. It feels unique to itself while still capturing how good the movies were at portraying this world, and just feels natural going about there from the streets of Agrabah to the Cave of Wonders and whatnot. And it's just natural, really fun to see these characters in these worlds and how they're used and whatnot. On the Disney side, Final Fantasy, I'm not... I haven't played a lot of the Final Fantasy games. I think the most I've played... I played a bit of the original 7. I've played the remake of 7, the first part of it. I played and a bunch of other games, but I haven't really spent a lot of time with that. JRPGs are massive and not overly my thing, whereas Kingdom Hearts is a lot more streamlined, but just as good. But I'll get to those probably sometime. I'll play those games. So unfortunately I can't really say much for the Final Fantasy characters, but they are very nice to work with and talk to as you progress, and they let you know what's going on, they inform you, they're a big part of it in this game, Kingdom Hearts. So overall, with the connection to Disney and whatnot, I'm going to give it a 5 because it is a good integration with the movies to here that feels natural and just amazing what they were able to do here in Kingdom Hearts. And was just very pleasant overall. And I enjoy this. Like I said, I enjoy the crossover effect, and they used it very effectively to give a good story that was compelling. It was really hit you in the feels sometime, but it still felt natural to these worlds, to these characters, Disney or Final Fantasy or the original. But anyway, so overall, Kingdom Hearts is definitely a 4 out of 5 game for me. The story is really well done. Story is well done. The characters, beside like Riku and Kairi, like I said, and Riku, Sora, and Kairi are good, but I feel like they fall more into tropes than anything else. I believe later on, as it goes on, they do get better with fleshing them out, especially Kairi. But for this one, it was, well, good. You know what they're up against and what they're doing and whatnot. They can very easily just be like, one-dimensional in a lot of places and spots, but still good. Story good, characters are good. The settings are beautiful, well done. They're really spacious. Not really spacious. But they are gorgeous, they look good, and they're fun to just go through, and they feel natural to the world. And the mechanics just allow you to go through this world nice and easy, fighting what it is. There can be a challenge, but as long as you keep at it, you'll get there. And it all feels very natural, mixing the original characters with the Disney characters and worlds and the Final Fantasy characters. But no world yet. No. Hello Bastion might be. But I also think it's, I don't know. I don't know enough about Final Fantasy, the Final Fantasy series to talk about that side of it. And then just a good integration overall. So 4 to 5. So overall for Kingdom Hearts, I'm going to give it a 4 to 5. Mostly because Sora, Riku, and Kairi, while really compelling, they have some holes in their character that I feel could have been, well, they were good, but they were lacking in some areas. But either way, 4 out of 5. So thank you, my fuzzies, for watching this quick review. I really recommend, if you have not played any of the Kingdom Hearts games, play them. It is a fantastic series. It is very easy to get into, especially with the collections and whatnot. And overall, it's a good time. I'm going to look forward to playing all of them up to the newest 1.4 that's coming out, whenever that one's coming out. That should be fun, and I hope you join me for that. Or play the games yourself, because they are a blast. But either way, thank you, my fuzzies, for watching, and I will see you next anytime. Take care.